Kentucky quarterback Will Levis had an impressive pro day workout, but was that enough to put him back at the top spot for QB1 in the 2023 NFL Draft class? We'll discuss it next on the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, family, to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It's your boy, Damian Parson, always on the ones and twos. You can find me on Twitter at DP_NFL. I'm a national scout over at the Draft Network and your favorite and local running back guru. And I can't talk about championship rings and things without my boy, Keith Sanchez. You can find him on Twitter at The Talent Code. Talk to him, Keith.
What's up, Locked On family? This is Keith Sanchez, senior draft analyst with the Draft Network, man. And like DP cues me up, man, 2019 national champ. But you know why we're here, man? We're here to bring championship level content when it comes to the NFL draft, prospects, philosophies, breakdowns, and guess what? Even pro days, man. Yes, championship level content surrounding pro days. DP, we had one of the more polarizing prospects, right? In Will Levis, his pro day. He threw the football, man. And let's get into what was some of the good and the bad, and where we stand now with Will Levis after he's completed this draft process.
Man, Keith, I mean, like you said, he completed the draft process, which, he was in, Indianapolis for the combine, threw well. He didn't run. He jumped and did everything else he needed to do. But at the pro day, he looks good. He looked the part, Keith. He took care of the things he had to take care of. Look good and throw hard, right? That's what he had to do, essentially, because those are the things that we expect from him, right? So he came out there, and shout out to my guy, Landon Oliver. I saw on Twitter because he was there at the pro day, and he just kind of showcased, like he had a couple clips, and one of them was a receiver was coming to the sideline, running a route towards the sideline where Will was on the move and just ripped it. No feet weren't set. He got his shoulder square. He just like bullied it, and it just whistled, man. You just heard the thud when it hit the receiver's gloves, Keith. So the arm talent is undeniable. And Keith, I truly believe he has one of those arms. I think he's top 5 at literally at worst. I think he's a top 5 to 7. I'll put it like that, in a nice little range there. Legitimate arm talent, can make all the NFL throws, bro. So I think for him, the ups was he looked good. He looked confident for the most part, the compact release. And you could tell, one thing I noticed, you've talked about this off air, was his footwork was really sloppy in the season. And Jordan Palmer, his QB coach, is helping him with that. So it showcases some of the coachability with him as well, Keith.
Yeah, I'm glad you highlighted the footwork, man, because that's extremely important. Because it doesn't matter how talented your arm is, right? If your feet work are not good and you're always throwing from a different platform, right, or a different height, you don't get the same consistency and same reps. So we're talking about 20-yard comebacks, right? And if you're standing taller in the pocket, then the trajectory of that football may not go the same, right? And that's why you see the inaccuracies with Will Levis. And then, you see him throw the ball and then he miss, and he kind of like, oh man. But it's reps, man. They always talk about success, right? And I think it's the 10,000 reps thing. You have to do something 10,000 times to be able to master it. And I think Will Levis is there with his footwork, man. Like, because for a long time, and you see this with big arm quarterbacks, they get away with just throwing all arm. But if he gets his feet work down, Pack, I think we get a more consistent Will Levis. And the conversation is interesting because I think we're taking a balanced approach to this, right? Because entering the season, coming off of last year, I think he had like 24 touchdowns or 22 touchdowns or something like that, and 12 interceptions. And everybody's like, oh, this is QB1, right? Mm-hmm. Then we get to week 9 of the season, and then he's the worst quarterback ever, right? And the truth is that it's somewhere in between it, right? Like he's somewhere in between that DP. And if you don't mind, I want to break this down, man. We always have the truck versus trailer conversation in regards to quarterback. But I'm going to introduce a new portion, which is very a part of that equation. And that's the hitch, man. Nobody talks about the hitch. You have the truck, you have the trailer, but what keeps that thing together is the hitch. And some quarterbacks, and matter of fact, Most quarterbacks are the hitch in the situation. They're not pulling their entire thing and they're not getting pulled their entire way, but they're a very important piece of keeping everything together. So you think about the offensive line, the wide receivers, the coach cadence, everything else, the clock, right? They're the hitch, man. They keep the thing going. And the question is, do you think Will Levis can be the hitch of this for a franchise moving forward?
I think he can, Keith, and I think he's a hitch that has the tools to be a truck, to
Okay.
turn into a truck, right? But like we talked about with the arm talent, the size, the mobility, and like you said, we talked about the footwork and the inaccuracies, the consistent inaccuracy with him right now is basically his Achilles heel, because for a big arm quarterback, Keith, he struggles pushing the ball down the field with confidence. And you could tell a confident passer, Keith. We've seen Patrick Mahomes, we've seen Josh Allen, right? But even going back, not just in the NFL, Keith, but going back to them at college, those were two of the most confident individuals on the field. Mahomes would roll left as a right-handed quarterback, do the jump man symbol, and throw it 60 yards down the field. And it'll be right on the dot into the arms of Jakeem Grant, his college version of Tyreek Hill, by the way. You know what I mean? Like, and Josh Allen, you watched Josh Allen recently these past couple months. You went back and said, man, I had watched this man in college. Let me go see what he was doing in college. You said, okay, yeah, it was a bad boy. But the confidence was there. And with Will Levis, I see a guy that underthrows. He rarely hits a guy right in stride, Keith, because he's still learning how to throw the ball downfield and layer it, because he's a fastball pitcher that throws nothing but 99 mile per hour heaters.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, man, we like to throw in different sports, right? And I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
talk about with basketball. So I'm gonna explain my game a little bit, right? I wasn't necessarily, I wouldn't call myself, you know, a Steph Curry, right? You know who I was if
Mm-hmm.
I was a point guard? I was Rajon Rondo. You know what I'm saying? I look, I'm gonna play hard D. I'm gonna get the assist. I'm gonna rebound. I'm tough as hell, right? But another thing when you talk about throwing the ball with confidence, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest. Shooting that thing from 3 DP. Oh, baby, I was not confident in it. I did not know if it was going to go in or not. I let it go with confidence. I talked my trash, and I let it be what it's going to be. But guess what? If that thing bricked, I was okay with it because I wasn't confident in my shot. And I think that's where Will Levis kind of is with throwing the deep ball, right? Like, just to kind of, talk to our listeners, right? Like, it's that's
Yes.
how it is for a quarterback. The same as like shooting a rock, like shooting a basketball. It's like, man, if I'm not confident, I'm let it go and see what happens. And you see Will Levis's demeanor, it's kind of very similar. So that's why I'm really happy that he identified that. You see Jordan Palmer out there working with him and really just break him down, segment by segment, body part by body part, to get him going in the right way. Because, man, I'll tell you this, if you're not confident as a quarterback, man, that stuff is going to eat you alive in the NFL, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you throw a couple interceptions and you go in the tank, that's a wrap. Then that's how you get the Sam Darnold I'm seeing ghosts. You know what I'm saying? Like, them ghosts was those pass interceptions. So for Will Levis, man, I think it was appropriate showing. I think he did what he needed to do, and I think it was an honest showing, right? Like, it was, you feel like Will Levis, like that's exactly what it is. The film
Yeah.
matched with the pro day in the sense of the fact that you've seen some inaccuracies, you've seen a hell of an arm, like you said, top 5 arm in the NFL, but there's some things that need to be improved on.
No, my last point, Keith, is very simple. The question in the opening was, did he do enough to move himself up? Well, he did enough to move himself up in your mock draft that we talked about yesterday. He moved. He did enough to move himself up to QB3 to the
Somebody's
Indianapolis
gonna buy
Colts.
into that, man. Somebody's gonna buy into that. I feel like he's going to the coach, man. That's just what my gut tells me,
But
man.
for me, he's still QB4. I have him behind A. Rich, Bryce Young, and C.J. Stroud. But I would be wrong if I said this. I don't see what the believers in Will Levis sees in terms of buying in on the total package and coaching them up. So I see what I identify what they see, but there's a lot of development that needs to happen before you get that truck. He could be a hitch though.
I'm with that, man. But listen, man, speaking of trucks, man, right? I think we have a guy that can truly be a truck in one of these wide receivers, man. And it's Tuesday, right? So
Mhm.
Tuesdays are this or that Tuesday, right? When we come up with draft scenarios, would you rather take this prospect or that prospect, right? Later in the round. So coming up next, man, me and DP, we're getting into this or that wide receiver edition. So stay tuned because we got two rather intriguing names, and we're going to put the pressure on DP a little bit.
The number one sports book in America is FanDuel. And guys, if you are a new customer, that's great news for you because you get a no sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. All you have to do to sign up is just go to FanDuel.com and claim your no sweat first bet. After that, you can wager on everything from money line to point spreads to which teams is cutting down the net because you know it's March Madness right now. All on the same app that's safe, secure, super easy to use. So don't miss your shot at no sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. Make every moment more with FanDuel. This or that, Keith. We back, baby. We up. This or that. And I got a fun activity for you. Two fun prospects. We go look at the big receivers, Keith. Your boy, the guy that you love, man. And I love him too, but you love him more than me. Quentin Johnston, TCU wide receiver, 6'2", 210, 215. And my boy over at Ole Miss, you know what I mean? Jonathan Mingo, 6'2", 220, 4'46", 38, 39, maybe 40 in the vert. Keith, the question is, in the first round, not just the first round, Keith, make it specific. In the top 15 picks, would you rather have this or that? Would you rather draft Quentin Johnston top 15, or would you rather grab Jonathan Mingo in the fourth round?
The fourth round. So you're talking about outside of the top 100. You're talking about damn good value, right? You're talking about because you're able to address a whole lot of other positions. If you're talking about a fourth round pick, right? You're talking about first, second, third round. You're able to address other positional needs with the fourth round. That's intriguing, DP, because I definitely thought you was going to say the third round, second round. You was going to make it way easy on me, right? But fourth round, you're talking about extreme value. But you also know Quentin Johnston is my guy. Oh, man, that's tough. You know what, DP? I'm all in on the Quentin Johnston hype train, dude. Give it to me. Give me that smoke. Give me that smoke. Give me that smoke. And yes, listen, at the time, because they're hurt right now. They're hurt by the Big 12 wide receivers, right? You're talking Josh Gordon. You're talking about Kevin White. You're talking about Corey Coleman. You're talking about Jalen Reagor. So everybody's hesitant to buy in on Quentin Johnston. But you guess what? You know what, DP? When everybody else was hurting and they were taking their draft takes, you know, I was working in college football. So the Big 12 never hurt me. And matter of fact, in the semi-championship game in the playoff, we beat Oklahoma. So I have no problem with the Big 12 at all, DP. So I haven't been hurt by the Big 12 wide receivers. I'm buying on Quentin Johnston. Give it to me in the top 15.
This man said we even beat Oklahoma, so I ain't got no problems with him.
No problems.
I have no problems with the Big 12, man. Look, hey, I knew you would lean that way, but I just wanted to put you, like you always tell me, you got to put your feet to the fire, man.
It was close. It was close.
I had to do it.
That was a hell of a scenario. It was close.
I had to do it to you. I think for me, Keith, to give my to shoot my shot and kind of put my feet to the fire as well. You know I love Jonathan Mingo and what he could be, the potential. The one thing with both of these receivers that I think needs to be discussed as well for our listeners and those who aren't familiar with both of their games, both playing in offenses that weren't complementary to their skill set, that didn't help them get prepared the right way for the NFL. They used them in ways that, like, yes, it's easy, but it create question marks. So it's easy for them to get their production at times, right? But it creates question marks for them of, hey, how do you project them to the league? What they were asked to do, you know, at TCU under Sonny Dykes and with Lane Kiffin's offense at Ole Miss. But as much as I love Jonathan Mingo, man, I got to go big QJ. I think QJ is ready to rock and roll right now as your perimeter X receiver today. Day one, I think you can go ahead and put his name at the top of your depth chart as your X receiver to help round out your receiving core and play right now. I think Mingo is still about a year to 2 years away in terms of fully developing because he has all the physical tools, Keith, but just that offense set him back, in my opinion.
Yeah, I want to ask you, DP. We're talking about Jonathan Mingo, wide receiver from Ole Miss, just to let our listeners know, man, for those who, you know, didn't know exactly what we're talking about. But I want to ask you, DP, what's the ceiling for Jonathan Mingo, right? Like in your opinion, because you say it's 6'2", 225. I see you getting excited, man, on YouTube. I see you getting excited. So what is the ceiling for Jonathan Mingo in your eyes? Because listen, we're in a draft class where you're talking Josh Downs, 5'10". You're talking Zay Flowers, 5'10". We can go down the list of these smaller wide receivers, but Jonathan Mingo is 6'2", 220. So I want to know, what is the ceiling that you think he can become in the NFL offense with that size and that speed?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you, Keith. It's not helmet scouting, but I'm going back to Ole Miss a couple years ago, and there was a guy that was built similar. Well, he's probably a little bit thicker with the body type, right? They call him Swole Batman. They call him Swole. They call him Swole Batman. AJ Brown, man. You know what I mean?
I knew he was gonna do it.
That's the comp for. That's the ceiling, I believe, because he does similar things. Big, strong, physical, open field speed, really, really good after the catch. A strong physical receiver that's hard to bring down. Especially for you think about those smaller corners when you motion them into the slot and you get up on those nickels, right? Some of those smaller nickel corners, hybrid safeties, and it's like, man, like, how are you going to stop me on this end breaker once I cross your face? Can you make the tackle, or is he going to be able to shrug and throw you off? So I think that's the ceiling comp for him, Keith, because of the speed, the body type, the build. And the crazy thing about it is, even going back then, AJ Brown wasn't used in the way that he's used now in the NFL to truly complement his skill set and say, hey, man, go win one-on-one, go be that dude. But he was a dude. So I think both of these guys have very similar qualities. And, of course, like I said, A.J. Brown's is, they call him Swole Batman for a reason, man. So I think he's a little bit more muscular in the frame. But I look at A.J., I look at A.J. Brown's game, and then I look at Jonathan Mingo, and I'm like, you know what? If he can hit that plateau, if he can hit that ceiling and really break through, he could be another similar player to A.J. Brown.
So there you have it, folks. Dame has said that Jonathan Mingo will be A.J. Brown.
Don't do it. I know you was going to do that. Don't just start that nonsense. Had these people coming back in these comments to me telling me he ain't A.J. Brown in 3 years. I never said that. All right?
No, man. So I appreciate that comp. And just to give our listeners a little bit of insight, man, when we were at the Senior Bowl, Jonathan Mingo was there. And, we have the opportunity to talk to a lot of NFL scouts, give our opinion. We go back and forth, right? We're talking, having conversations. And some of the two names that got brought up to me, and I brought up one of them. The one that I brought up was Deebo Samuel, right? Because he's a thicker body. He run after the catch ability, powerful, strong. You get the ball in his hands, and then he can run through and power through those defensive backs. And I really like that skill set. You're talking about quick screens, anything like that. Then the other name that was thrown out there, which, it depends on what year that you're thinking about how this name is going to come off, and that's Juju Smith-Schuster, right? If I tell you 2020, you'll be like, I'm out on that. But if I tell you 2017, 2018, Juju.
1,400 yards, Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, 1,400 yards, Juju. But, man, a really intriguing prospect, somebody that we're going to continue to bring his name up. And we're actually going to give you even more of a deep dive into him the closer we get to the draft, because we both believe that this will be a key player coming up, man. And look, that's one of Dame's guys, right? And last time I checked, man, it was Tuesday. So we have a Dame's Dude segment coming up, man. But we're going to do it a little bit different this week. Last week, it was easy for DP, right? He was able to pick his own guys. This week, I'm throwing curveballs, man. I'm throwing nothing but curveballs. I'm giving him 5 guys, rapid fire. I want him to tell me if that's his guys or not. So coming up next, man, we have the segment Dame's Dudes coming up.
Guys, if you're on the go, it's March Madness. So if you're at any of these games and, I just don't have the time to stop and grab something to eat on the way to the game, what have you, or you're just traveling, but you don't want all the fat carbs and things that just don't fit well with your body, give Built Bar a try. I promise you, you will not regret it. Built Bar is a protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. And it's made out of 100% real chocolate, which gives it that candy bar flavor. I'm telling you. And there's numerous of flavors. Cocoa Puff, all of it, guys. Like cookies and cream. You name it, they have it. And I promise you right now, you can go to your local Walmart. That's what I did. Went to my local Walmart, got a 4-bar box of cookies and cream. You can also go to your local Sam's Club and get you a 13-bar box. You can do whatever you want. Depends on your mood. But at the end of the day, you need something that's going to give you a pick-me-up and keep you going, guys. So I promise you, if you don't want to go there, you rather get some assistance we can help you. Go to BuiltBar.com and use our promo code LOCKEDON15. That's LOCKEDON15 to get 15% off your next order. It's that time, Keith. It's Dame's Dudes, baby. You got some rapid fire for you. You gonna throw me some curveballs, man. Listen, I got to Barry Bonds these things. So talk to me, man. We gonna be handing out some Dame stamp of approvals. Let's get it.
All right, well, look, we're not holding off. DP, we talked about him in the first segment, but I don't think the listeners know exactly where you stand with him. Went over it. We're going straight into a quarterback from Kentucky, Will Levis. Is he your guy or not, right? We're not standing on the fence. I need to know if he's a Dame dude or not.
I like Will Levis. I like the potential of Will Levis, tools and all. But Keith, he is not. Can't get the stamp of Dame's Dudes. He doesn't have the approval. He can't get into the club, man. I can't give him that stamp on the hand. He can't get in.
All right,
not yet.
Cool.
Not yet.
Moving on to the next one, man. Listen, I told you it's curveballs. Nothing but curveballs, man. This is a rather prospect that had a lot of hype throughout the season, right? And it's cooled off through the draft process. And we're talking about SMU wide receiver Rashee Rice. Is he one of Dame's dudes, man? What do you stand with Rashee Rice?
Man, looking at his game, Keith, and then watching him down in Mobile, getting to appreciate his size and everything, he is one of Dame's dudes. I like a guy that knows how to get the ball, take it away at the catch point. He plays with an aggressive mentality in those opportunities. Good route runner. Separates well enough. Got some nuance to his game. Stamp him. I like Rashee Rice a lot.
Okay, cool. All right, man. Next up, man, we talk about you're the running back guy, right? You're the running back guru. That's what you tell everybody, right? You're the local running back guru. Your favorite local guru,
right?
That you always say. So, man, I'm gonna put you on the spot, man. We're talking about Illinois running back Chase Brown, a guy that had a ton of production at Illinois. When you watch him, does he get the Dame dude stamp of approval as a guy you think would be productive in the NFL?
I like Chase. I do, but I got some bad news for Chase. He ain't getting in the club right now, man. I can't put the stamp on the hand. He doesn't get Dame stamp of approval, man. I'm a tough grader with running backs, as you know. I love my position, so I'm a little tough grader. So shout out to Chase Brown, but he does not get Dame stamp of approval.
Okay, cool. I'm with it, man. On to the next, DP. Listen, we have safety one, right? We're talking Alabama safety Brian Branch, a guy that ran an underwhelming 4.58, right? And everybody cooled off, so he went from a top 20 pick to in the second round. Now he can't be drafted in the first round. Is Brian Branch a Dame's dude?
Yes, Brian Branch is a Dame's dude, man. That versatility, playing nickel corner, you can play too high with him. He's gonna run, defend. He's gonna cover well in the slot, man. Headsy, high football instincts. Got the leadership mentality, and I love the way he handled himself in Indy at the combine during the interviews as well. A very well spoken young man. He's getting that day. He's in the club, Keith. He's in. He can come in and pop bottles and have a good time, man.
All right, cool. We're going to end this thing off, man. We're going to end this thing off with a Georgia offensive tackle. And not the guy you think I'm talking about. You think I'm talking about Broderick Jones. But no, I'm talking about his running mate, man. Georgia offensive tackle Warren McClendon, right? A guy that's flown under the radar thus far. Is he a Dame's dude?
Yes. You know personally, Warren McClendon is one of my guys. I've talked about him since the summer, man, when I watched him. And I kept tabs on him all season, and this is a guy that to me is more developmental as a prospect right now, still kind of raw in certain aspects of his game, but I think he gets those things under control and really develops. Keith, you got yourself a long-term starting right tackle in this league. Power, good, decent athlete as well. Run game, gap, zone, whatever. He does all those things. So yes, he's in the club. Get big boy in here, give him a bottle, and give him a spot, man.
I like it, man. So that was the five guys for this week when we're talking about Dame's dude, man. And listen, man, I think I like the segment more that way, right? I like hitting you with the curveballs, seeing what you're going to hit, seeing what you're going to miss at. And to be quite honest, right, a couple of them I agree with, a couple of them I disagree with. But we're going to get into that, man, in coming episodes. Man, definitely appreciate everyone listening. Check out Dame's dudes, man.
For sure. As always, guys, we thank y'all for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen every single day, Monday through Friday. But Make your second listen Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes. From free agency to salary cap management and more, join NFL experts Kyle Krabs and Joe Marino as they take you through what it's like to build a successful NFL franchise every Monday through Friday. Find Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And guys, you know how we feel about y'all showing all the love and support. We thank y'all for it. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Subscribe and follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts to get the latest episode as soon as it's available. Come back tomorrow. Join us again tomorrow, guys. Listen, we got more to talk about, so definitely join us. For Keith Sanchez, you can find him on Twitter at TheTalentCode. I'm Damian Parson, DP_NFL. And once again, come and join the conversation tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.